So, what would you say the sunny effect really is?
Sunny effect is you getting a lot of compassion, kindness, relentlessness, tenacity that he's going to be with you. He expects you to show up the same way that he does also. And when that happens, patterns are about to be broken, and that's the sunny effect, the tenacious kindness, I guess.
Hi. So, I have Harish Kumar with me here today. He is one of my clients from Chennai, whom I'd helped back in end of December and January. We started talking a few months before that when he reached out to me from LinkedIn. And here we are after all these months, just catching up. And I'm seeing all of these amazing things he's doing in his life. He's, in fact, right now working as a consultant and business developer for A&H, Antano and Harini, Chennai. And he's working or helping people come out of their stuck patterns, resolving their issues by consultative selling. What they do is make installations that break patterns. These are neurological installations in an accelerated pace. So you don't end up spending too many years. In just a matter of few days, they get the person out of their problem. And some of the things that these guys are doing down there is simply amazing. It's groundbreaking, in fact, bringing people in states like coma or something completely chronic physical state. They bring them out of that just with their work. So it's amazing work. Check them out. And Harish right here is working with this organization now. So Harish, welcome. It's great to have
Thank you,
you.
Sunny. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always to talk with you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
man.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what specifically do you do, Harish? Could you just share that with us for my viewers here?
So we are involved in this business of evolving people. What we do is we break all those patterns that is limiting people from achieving, let's say, success or even wellness in their lives. So what we are able to do is we are able to neurologically reprogram them. And when that happens and when the shifts are very strategic, it creates a ripple effect in their life and they are able to accomplish what they want to do in what they want to do in the next 5 to 10 years, in the next 2 years, because the limitations have been removed, capabilities have been installed, and they've been neurally reprogrammed
Mhm.
to be in high performance states and do what they want to do. So this is what we do in short.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So, and I hear that you are consulting and you're also helping with business development in this area. So it's a consultative selling that you're doing, right?
Yeah. So yes. So I people usually that involves a lot of empathizing and understanding patterns, and yeah, so we call it consultative selling. And we we provide solutions um, in terms of programs. So we have events that we conduct, and people come over the events and they start their revolution. So
All right.
yeah,
So, what wasn't working for you in terms of when you came to me? What was not working for you?
I think I was at an all-time low in all aspects of my life. Spiritually, I didn't know what I was doing. I just dropped a faith, a belief system. Um, Career-wise, I don't know where I was going. I was planning to do an MBA, even though I don't know what it has to offer me. Relationships-wise, all-time low. I definitely I had distanced myself from a lot of people, and it was just a very difficult phase in life. And but all I knew is I needed help,
Okay.
and
So,
yeah.
you felt isolated in your relationships or with your
Yeah, I wouldn't say
connections?
isolated. I still had my friends, but the I wasn't connected with myself.
Ah,
I was at peace with myself. I couldn't. I mean, there were a lot of people who still surrounded me, but I wasn't at peace with myself, and that led to a disconnect, which they felt. But still, I mean, they're friends, right? They still stuck together. I wasn't at peace with myself.
So why did you hire me? And specifically, why did you hire me when you did it?
So because we already tried out all the other things, and at that moment, I've not opened up to many people, so that would be just you and one other therapist, and I've not opened up to anyone in my life, and I felt that at that moment I was able to trust you, and I knew that you're gonna provide the solution that I wanted.
How do you know that?
I don't know, man. It was just a trust and connection, and we also. I think it was a decision made out of trust, man. If I have to be very honest, of course and we during the calls, I think the skill was displayed when you went about giving alternative solutions for all that I went through, and you had been through something similar. I think that's what ticked me. I mean, you had not asked me to do what you have not done before, and I didn't need a brand, or I just needed a person who could just understand what I'm going through and just fix it. And yeah, more than the display of skill, I think the life experience is what drove me to sign up with you. Yeah.
Okay. And I suppose you learned about my life experiences through my posts on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and you also shared it with me.
Ah, yeah, when we got on the call, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So who else were you considering hiring? Like who else am I similar to in your research?
Who else is similar to you? Would be someone I'm working with right now,
Whoa, okay.
Antara and
Interesting.
Harini. So what we both of us work with the subconscious, but
Hmm.
so I think you work with Ericksonian hypnosis, and Erickson is also very welcome here. His line of
Hmm.
thought is very welcome here. What we may do, maybe, I mean, the technicals may be different, but I think the solution and the pattern reversal, I think that's what we both do in common. And I had them in mind at that time, but it's just that on a personal level, I felt this is what I needed at this moment. It's just that personal connect at that moment.
Yeah, not
I
to an
I, I
organization, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah.
at that moment, yeah, and I
Mhm.
knew for a fact that this is this is what I needed, and I think it's a personal connection out of everything.
So what was it about then?
Authenticity.
Authenticity. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it about Antano and Harini that that attracted you to them initially before even considering me?
I mean, again, they're outliers, right? So Antonio, he was a CTO by the age of 22. He's a founder of his own technology, where he has clubbed a lot of different techniques, and he's gone about doing his finding his own technology. And I mean, they have worked with 50,000 people, brought people out of paralysis, brought people out of coma, and yes, I mean, they are the best at what they do. But at that moment, I felt maybe it's the personal connection that got
So,
me
so
there.
you're answering my question. I'm going to ask it anyways.
Hmm.
Why did you hire me instead of him then? Like he is this insane level of genius.
See, also, I didn't know Antonio back in November, December, right? Also, I didn't know that they do this subconscious work. I know that they're gonna break patterns. See, everything, even that was new to me, right, back then. So
Hmm.
I didn't research into it. I didn't deep dive into it. I was just exploring, and I just know that one of my friend is working there. So I didn't know exactly what they do, but see, at that moment, that personal connection with you is what.
The connection
Yeah, we had spent so much time, and we spent almost 2 months uh, from before
back
making
and
the yeah
back
before
and
making
forth. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the authenticity, and it's the same commitment with each call, which I realized that yes, maybe it's not just wanting me as a client. He wants to give me a breakthrough.
Okay. So I remember you mentioned that you did work with a psychotherapist before you came to work with me. Okay. So what about them did not work for you? And then, that's the reason why you then came to me. So what about them did not work for you?
I felt it was very. So I just got 1 hour where I had to spill everything, and the timer kept ticking, and that approach in itself, and what strategies and what I got out of that, I think it wasn't serving. It wasn't solving any problem. It was. I don't know. It was just I didn't feel like doing it the next time.
Okay. So you didn't feel fulfilled. You didn't feel like you were heard.
Heard. I mean, so I would say, I mean, he heard me. I mean, that's his job. But I don't know the strategies and the sessions. I don't know. Intuitively I knew I this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it didn't go deep enough for you to.
No. Yeah, I didn't. And I had
Mm,
problems like in all areas of my life, and what I kept getting is solutions in one particular area, which
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, I think what was happening is that the therapist was going with what you were sharing instead of
Yes. Instead
going
of
with what is. So they were getting stuck in the symptom instead of deep
yeah.
diving beyond the symptom and finding the root of the problem. Right there.
Sorry.
That's
Yep.
okay. That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. They kept doing that.
Mhm. Okay. Now, so what have been your results? And I want specifics. Like, I don't want the exact number, but let's just talk about your careers. Yeah, remember you were working in just starting out in the HR department at that time. And compared to that, what has been your result now?
First major breakthrough is me changing the career and knowing what I have to do in life. You've given me a life purpose,
Mhm.
and this happened when everything unfolded subconsciously.
Yeah.
I was a HR back then. I wanted to do my MBA, but subconsciously you had told me like an MBA is not going to serve your purpose. You just don't want to do it, but you're just pushing your body and mind to do it.
Hmm.
That I dropped instantly, and now I'm doing something which I like and which I love and which I'm putting my all, and I don't even worry about waking up. I just wake up and go about doing.
That's interesting to very refreshing to hear that from a young man like you. That you, I mean, the workforce around you, like people out there, they may be making three times the money sometimes, but that feeling of just dread to want to get up and go to work. If you can find that purpose to get up in the morning and look forward to the day, man, you've hit it. And why did you want to do MBA at that time?
I always had high ambitions and hopes
Mm,
to become really good at what I do. And
mm,
at that moment, I felt being a HR and being a really good HR is gonna serve my purpose back then.
mm.
But seldom did I. I mean, I really did know that consciously that's what I've been telling, but subconsciously I've been wanting something else, and
Yeah.
subconsciously it has come up in all my interviews, but
Mm.
I just couldn't. I just didn't have the mindset to realize it. It,
All
it
right.
required someone to. It required someone to guide me through all of that noise.
And and so how did our work help you with your relationships or the way you interact with people now?
So before I used to put all my attention in like how I'm gonna look, how I'm gonna talk, how I'm gonna sound, and there is a very big shift in like how the conversation is gonna go, how you're gonna make them feel. There's an attention shift in attention where I'm placing my attention. Now I'm just placing my attention on the other person, and when that happens, relationships are really meaningful, and it comes from a very authentic space and not from a self-serving space.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
required a lot of repetition from you and from me practicing it. But
Mhm. There. And how do you feel with this ability to connect with people at a deeper level? How do you feel about yourself and about the relationships?
so before I thought I have to connect with each and every person. I have to do that, but then down the road I realized that you're not going to go connect with each and every person. It's not going to go click with each and every person. I mean, you can maybe put up a mask and pretend as if you can connect, do the small talks,
Mhm.
but you're just going to go connect with just a few people
Yeah.
who are going to be very close to you. I mean,
Mm.
you're going to connect on a level where you respect the other person, but while I'm speaking very private relationships, it's going to
Mm.
be just the very few who's going to understand you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that was a big shift for me. And I now I don't worry about connecting with everyone. I just know that the ones who are really meant to be in my life, they're going to be
Yeah.
there, and it's going to be very
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah. And I remember like this was a challenge for you, even the few ones that to hold on to them and to relate with them, because as you said, your focus used to be on
Mm.
yourself instead of focusing and attending to the other person.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of anxiety attached to it, and
Mm. Yeah.
when that was sorted, and
Mm.
with that, additionally, an attention shift was also sorted. Things became
Yeah.
quite meaningful.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember like one of the things you mentioned back then is that you were struggling to have conversations with your colleagues in your last job. And now here you are speaking with strangers and consulting with them on how to break their patterns.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's so, it's so surprising what a year can do. And if you're able to seek help and if you're able to get everything sorted in the quickest amount of time, I mean,
Yeah. How
life.
and how many people spend years just lost like that, right? Just can you imagine not taking that action back then a year ago?
Oh wow.
Where
If
would you
if
be right now?
Oh wow. If 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 the help wasn't taken, I think I would still be in this job,
Hmm.
trying to juggle a MBA and all, bogged, stressed down, drinking away my sorrows. Now I don't drink anymore.
Oh,
I
is that
used to,
so?
yeah, I
Interesting.
don't. I used to, all my stress relief I used to do on a Saturday night, or I used to just drink.
I see. Okay.
Now
Hmm.
I don't drink anymore.
So that was my
So,
next question. How has it affected your health and your body overall?
oh,
So
we'll transition it to it.
yeah,
Uh,
go for it.
but
Yeah.
what was the last question? I'll just complete it.
Yeah. So the last question, before this, we're just talking about
Where
if,
would I be if
yeah, yeah,
help
yeah,
wasn't taken? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think I would have been in a very miserable place. And coming to how my health has transformed, I think I don't drink. I don't eat non-vegetarian. I
So,
I
by the way, audience, I'm not endorsing these things. But if you work with me, I'm not saying quit eating non-vegetarian or stop drinking. This is entirely uh, Harish's informed decision based on his research. That may not be true for you, but this is what works for him, and this is all that we are about: finding our own solutions and ways when all the patterns are broken down. Harish, please continue.
Yes, and mentally, see, mental health has has really gone up. I mean, I'm meditating now, and thanks to you, I've got a meditation mentor as well.
Mhm.
Things have become very calm, and there are no nerve-wracking incidents anymore. I just show up, get things done. I'm going to my gym regularly,
Mhm.
and it's just beautiful, man. I'm in a
Yeah.
very healthy space right now where I'm trying to reflect on myself and
Mhm.
grow on a day-to-day level.
Yeah, I can tell you actually look different from the Harish that I knew a year ago. I mean, physically you're in good shape. You were in good shape back then as well. But just the overall vibe, you're so relaxed. You're not on the edge. Harish back then was so, yeah, you mentioned the word nerves. Yeah, very, very on the edge with the nerves, right? So this is great. So what specifically did I say or do that caused you to have this shift, as you say you did?
I think what others wouldn't have got, maybe I got lucky there. It's the amount of time that you had spent on me. There was a lot of repetition, but of course now you're doing just all the magic in one single call.
Mm, yeah.
But what I had was I had it was a lot of repetition and life experiences that you shared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing that you didn't do, you asked me to do. We had gone through all of that, and it was, I think, it was that understanding on a very core level,
Mm-hmm.
and all that life experiences and all that really great, not just advices but just strategies which got me
Mm-hmm.
where I am. It was all those shifts that had to happen financially, career wise, health wise,
Yeah.
spiritually, very important. I was lost spiritually. And when all of that happened in a one single session where I just came to just break one pattern, and in turn I just got all other areas fixed. And that pattern it still prolonged after some time, but that didn't matter. All of I kept focusing on that for so long, I didn't see all of the shifts happening.
Interesting you say that.
Yeah,
So there was one pattern.
which I
And is,
came to get broke.
yeah, is it okay if I say it's about the eye contact?
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the audience, this is the thing. Like Harish came to me for not being able to make eye contact with people. Okay. And here's the interesting thing about any pattern, and it's not just with Harish. When I work with people, I've seen this over and over again, including my own life. We may have one pattern that may be predominant, but when we don't take care of it, you will start noticing, and you may be experiencing this right now in your own life, audience, where the pattern is not restricted to that one area of life, but it starts showing up in other areas as well. So it could have started, in Harish's case, it was more about having interaction with people, especially, with attractive females, which he now attracts himself, right? So he doesn't really have to go chase women now. It's the other way around. The point is, it wasn't just restricted to that scenario. It was then spilling over into even basic normal conversation with friends and colleagues. This is when you knew that this is getting out of hand, right? And the interesting thing that you mentioned is that it's not just that pattern that we attacked. In fact, that pattern has nothing to do with the problem, right? That was a symptom. When we kept working, the unconscious, when the trust is built, the unconscious throws up the root back to us, and then it's us again giving back that root back to the unconscious. Okay, now give us the solution, give us the resource that works for Harish. And that's what is happening. His own mind, his own unconscious brought up the solution. It is not me, but my job was to facilitate that conversation, that interaction that he needed to have with himself. And it goes back to what you said initially, Harish, that you hadn't really opened up about this with anyone. Like no one really allowed you to drop into that space to just sit down and look at your deepest fears, right?
It was rushed. Yeah, those sessions were rushed. Like, but what's your problem? Let me just prescribe. Let's prescribe. Let's prescribe it.
Yeah. Problem solution. Okay. So tell me, let me ask you again. What is my specific genius? What do you love about our sessions?
If I have to, I mean, me personally, I others might say different. I think it's a relentless commitment. Our calls have gone 4 hours. Our We have texted for 3 hours straight. Um, but what I was offered is solution which is going to commitment to getting the solution delivered. That was what I was told. You're going to get what you were promised.
Mm-hmm.
And that took multiple calls with us. I mean, I kept bothering you with so much questions, someone, even I don't know whether I would have the patience to deal with someone like that. I definitely wouldn't. I would just go crazy. And but you had every time whenever I came up with so many questions, I threw so many questions at you, but you had the patience and that commitment to get the solution. Also, not only get the solution, but also mentor someone and guide them through all of this. And there was a lot of hand holding done, to be
Hmm.
honest.
Hmm.
But
And mhm,
yeah,
go for it. But
but it was all worth it. I mean, now I'm in a space where I could reach out to so many more people. So it all comes together.
it's all coming together. Yeah.
Yeah, that way. Yeah.
And I want to tell you guys, if you're watching, I always tell my clients that most of my conversations, my solutions that my clients get, um, it's 95% of them get resolved in one call, and that 5% is this guy who took multiple calls. So
Yep.
finally there's a face to the 5%. You take the 5% of the pie there, but it was worth it. It was worth the effort, because that effort is not just changing your life, but the hundreds of people that you're affecting in your job in a positive way. And then think about the ripple effect of those people with their shifted life, and what they can generate and what they can do in the world. So it's
That's the
just
dream.
creating these ripples of absolute beauty, right?
That's the
So
dream. Yeah.
yeah, so and that's something which I feel very honored and grateful to have had the opportunity to do with you. So
Thank you so much,
absolutely,
man.
yeah, you're very welcome. So, lastly, I want to ask you this. What would you say to someone, Harish, who is on the fence about hiring me? They keep thinking about reaching out to me, but not making a decision.
Number one, this is the safest space where one could actually open up. There's no judgments. There's no bullshit. You're just gonna get what you're promised, and it's a very safe space where one can just open up. And I don't know whether others would be able to create the space in a very short amount of time, but it's a very safe, authentic space where one could just open up. And if they are on a fence about still reaching out to help, they are missing out on so many life years and experiences. And they will continue to go through all of the turmoil. They'll continue to cope, but only if you could just get it fixed immediately, you'd see such a positive shift in your life that you go about doing things very differently and experiencing life in whole very differently. Not viewing it on a very limited lens, but now it's just open, it's just free.
Ah, you mean to say more choices, different choices.
Different choices. And like I said, yeah, different opportunities to collab, different life experiences.
Amazing.
And if they
Mhm.
still are hesitant to reach out to help, I mean, I do get it. We have addressed the safety part, we've addressed the experiences part. If they
Results
are
as
worried,
well, yeah. Mhm.
uh, if they are worried about the cost that you charge, yes, we charge hefty too. But what one has to understand is anyone who promises to give you results are gonna charge you so much, because what with that price tag comes a commitment to deliver the results. Someone who's gonna just offer you 700 per hour, or let's say 600 per hour, pay peanuts, you might not get the results that you expecting. And anyone who's going to charge that much, and if anyone who's going to tell that your sessions are going to cost that much, they have to understand that with that comes a lot of commitment and also results. And
Mhm.
not everything in life comes very cheap or easy.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing that point up. I want to actually ask you, Harish, you're a young man, okay, and the kind of fee that yours truly charges is not something which a lot of young men can straight away go and buy. So how was it for you when you heard my fee, and when you reached out to me with all this hope that let's get the problem resolved? When you heard my fee, how was it? How was the situation for you?
So I paid, let's say, $600 to $700 for my therapy sessions, and what I was charged from you was 100x into what I paid. Not more than 100, 150x, close to that ballpark. And I was thrown aback. I since I had this habit of saving, I had it was just literally all my savings, and I but for a moment I knew that I was very shaken. I still remember I could just visualize myself being so shaken, but I knew that there was no other way at that time. I
Mhm.
knew that the solution is about to be provided, and not only solutions, so many new avenues of my life is about to be opened.
Yeah. So a lot of youngsters in your space might probably, take that money, go out, probably go to some place, spend it on some sort of an adventure, or, some sort of substance, whatever it is that people do to distract themselves. How would you spend that money looking back now? Would you choose to spend it in any other way than getting that session done?
So that night, I had planned to spend it on my either new bike or on traveling.
Hmm.
Imagine riding that bike with just uh, a discontent with life, or just a simple unhappiness and feeling of being depressed riding that bike. You would try to feel good. It's not gonna
Yeah.
feel good. It's gonna feel so shitty. And imagine traveling with that perspective. Imagine the people that you're gonna attract. Imagine you're not gonna attract anyone for the like you're gonna be so close. So I mean, if people are gonna say, I'm gonna spend it on this, I'm gonna spend it on that, they're not gonna find happiness in that either. So
Yeah.
just get this problem sorted. Just whatever that you're going
Mm.
through, just get it sorted, and after that, life is gonna open. You're gonna be more open to more opportunities to, let's say, make new relationships, or whatever that you're, let's say, make more money.
Mhm.
And money is very um it's we are earning money just to feel good in this earth. And when you're not able to do that, and when you're having all of that money,
There's no
it's not going to
point.
serve your purpose. There's no point. I mean, it's not going to serve your purpose. Just it's okay.
How very simply and nicely put there. Yeah, it's ultimately, if you're not having a great time, what's all that money going to do anyways for you?
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, I'm not charging 90,000 rupees now. It's much more. It's much more than that. So, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's
I'm not surprised either.
yeah, Harish got a long time of work with me. My skill sets have gone beyond. I've invested in myself since then and worked with so many clients across the board. And the point is, we always say this, like Harish put it clearly in a very eloquent way. It's your skin in the game. When you are putting down that money, it shows to yourself, you're proving to yourself that this is serious now. Half the battle is done when you make that sort of a decision and take that big of a financial decision for yourself. Okay. We always buy stuff and do things, big money for family, for a wedding, for a certain event. That is a marker for yourself. This is a huge event for me. I'm choosing to shift my life for good. And that's what Harish did, and he found this out for himself, and he wouldn't want to spend that money in any other way, looking back, as he said. So Harish, just in conclusion, I want to say two things to you. You mentioned about like me giving it straight to you, and the point is that I work with clients who can take it straight. If I knew you could not take it straight, I wouldn't even take you on in the first place as a client. So to be able to take it on the chin, it does need a lot of courage. So kudos to you for doing that. And also, secondly, it was your commitment to keep pushing, right, and not giving up, even though there was a certain level of trust that you put in the process, and not give up. And now you're seeing this, and you're actually working in the same field as I am, and getting to do it with the best, some of the best in the world. So I'm super excited for you, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Sunny. Thank you so much.